Hi and welcome back to another video of JPlay. I am Marcus and today I'm walk you through a couple of rounds of King of the Valley. Usually I would show you the box cover. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do so because, the parcel service here in Germany wasn't so kind to it. I'm not telling you which one it was, but the box looked pretty cool. And honestly, this was the first time a box arrived me like this. I was shocked. And I also, as a, let's say, disclaimer, I received this game as a review copy from Huch Spiele, so really appreciate that. So take everything I say here with a pinch of salt as usual. But when I show them the pictures of how the game was treated, they were also quite shocked in the end. But yeah, let's see how things go. The contents for the most parts are okay. There is a slight dent here on this little mountain on this hill, but I think we will be fine. I'm not sure if I will be able to do a full playthrough of this game today. I'm playing 3 players and it is quite thinky, although it's rather fast. But yeah, let's simply see how things go. And what you're trying to do in this game is to score the most amount of points at the end of the game. Obviously, you're looking at the German version of the game. The only thing that you really need to be worried about are the rules, and there are English rules on the Geek, so really you can play this game in pretty much any language. The game actually ends once we basically run out of those replacement tiles here. So the majority of tiles that you see here are from, let's call it Era 1. I think parts of those on the mountain, on the hill here, are from Era 2. And again, if we're walking through all of those and can no longer refill that, this will then trigger the end of the game. We will play until each player has an equal amount of turns. And then, you pretty much tally up your score. And the player with the most points will win and will be the king of the valley. As usual, I will explain you all the rules as I go, but this is really a relatively simple game. Rules-wise, it still comes with some very thinky decisions in the end. And the first decision that you have to make is to where to place your king pawn here at your starting location. You have to be on different tiles here, and you have to make some, let's call it, informed best guesses on which of those subject tiles you want to basically acquire throughout your turn. But again, you're starting with a starting player, then you go to the second and the third player. You might ask, hey, the starting player does typically sounds like a starting player advantage. In this case, not so much. Yes, they can get first dibs on this tile, but the other players can pretty much, I guess what the player is after, and then could maybe get in their way. At least during setup, that's something that you can do. So in this case, the starting player really doesn't have an advantage. And I think, as we're playing equal amount of turns, usually the last players have some advantages there too. During your turn, the first thing that you can do, so that's an optional thing, is to recruit one subject here from the hill. There's one exception: you cannot do that during the first round of the game. So we can simply ignore that for now. Let's undo that. I mean, you see that here. That's basically, you can choose which one of those you're acquiring. Let's say you want this Duke here, for example. Then you have to pay 3 money, and then you pretty much claim him, and then you move directly into the second phase of the game, or round that is, and that is basically acquiring now subjects here from the valley. The way how this works is you move your pawn here in pretty much a straight line. This can be a diagonal line, this can be a straight line, but you cannot do snake things. Yes, there are some exceptions, like this priest here, or the monk, I would have translated it to, which allows you to move a little bit differently, but typically you're moving your guy in a straight line. And then you can either grab the tile that your pawn is landing on. So let's say, I don't know, I want this knight here. The knight with, what is it here? Whatever. This symbol here is flashes or so. Then I can move here. I will acquire this knight. I will put it or next to my player board, and then my turn is pretty much over. So that's the relatively easy. You cannot do that basically by landing on this tile. So if it's occupied, I can still end my movement there, but I cannot get the tile on top of this. The other alternative is to, let's say, acquire up to 3 subjects from the valley if they share the same name. So in this case, we see these 2 farmers here. For example, if we are moving over those, 1, 2, and 3, then we are acquiring both of those. But again, they have to carry or hold the same name. We also have the farmer's wife in this case. They are, I would say, still similar enough, but not exactly enough so that you can acquire them. So I cannot move from here to here and claim the 2 farmers and the farmer's wife. That's not allowed again. They have to have the precisely same, let's also call it image, and also the same name. There is let's say, a small exception to this. You see all those knights, they come with somewhat similar symbols here. A knight is still a knight, independent of if it's a sun knight, if it's a plus knight. If we're moving over whatever 2 or 3 different knights, I will get those. You always have to end your movement directly after the last similar subject that you're grabbing, so I cannot continue to move, but in most cases that's relatively obvious. Maybe just to give you an example, the blue player could also move up here, and we have 2 farmers basically in the row. We can jump over other subjects in this case. That's totally fine. But still, I'm only still getting those 2 farmers because they have the same name. And there's really no reason not to take as many subjects that you can grab in this case. There is a very detailed table in the rules which tell you how many farmers there are, how many farmers' wives there are, how many queens we have, and so on. And that's already it. There are, again, some exceptions. We have these specialists here, these great tiles. So we have the priest, we have the tax collector. For example, later on, I think they come as of stage 2. Yeah, we have one on the hill, a wizard. But apart from that, most of those are relatively straightforward. You simply get those, and at the end of the game, they will provide you the victory points here. The queen is 5 victory points, the countess is 3 victory points. We have a jester here, that's also a special tile which can jump in basically any role on your court, but they don't really score you immediate points at the end of the game, but they can still help you to complete a set. And yeah, set is definitely something where you can also score a lot of points throughout the game. Okay then, green is first. And the original plan for green was, that's why they placed their pawn in here, they would ideally move over both of those countesses and would grab them both. But because here is the red player on it, that's not going to happen. He can still claim the 1 countess here. So in this case, they would stop here, for example. But that's basically what happened here as part of setup, which you say, okay, wow, I'm first, but still someone might get in your way. So in this case, I mean, getting the countess here is still good, but the contingency plan for green was to grab the queen. The queen is 5 points. They are very rare in the deck. I think we only have 3 queens in the whole, all the 3 piles, that is. And in order to really complete a set, which will score you also 5 points at the end of the game and will give you 5 coins, which are also points, I still think that getting the queen as a contingency is great. Normally I would have went for the countesses here if I get 2, but the 1 queen I think is still good enough. So we are grabbing the queen in this case. We are placing her next to our player board here, and again, at the end of the game, the queen will score us 5 points. We can later on turn her over by whatever, using the tax collector, for example, but I will come to that, relatively sure about that. And that's pretty much already the end of the action. The last thing to do is to refill or replenish the empty spot here. And this is where the hill comes into the picture. When you refill spots, and it doesn't matter how many spots you fill, you can refill up to 3 spots, depending on how many tiles or subjects you got. But you always have to go for 1 column. So I cannot go left, right, for example. If I want to refill, I have to say, okay, I will refill only from the left column or from the right column here. Here is a tax collector, which is okay. Here's a farmer's wife, a duke, and another. But I think we will start from this one here. So we will bring out another farmer's wife. They will slide down. We will refill right off the bat. That's another tax collector, which can really score you a lot of coins. And yeah, this farmer's wife simply goes onto this spot here. Green is here, and that's the end of the turn. Next, it's blue. And I guess, maybe we do want to get the 2 farmers here, because this could bring me to the position to maybe later on grab 2 knights, for example, or maybe the countess, and let's see what comes out. I think that's a good and solid idea. So let's move 1, 2, 3 spaces here. We passed over 2 basically subjects here, 2 farmers. That's only 2 points compared to the queen, but still the farmers can later on help me, for example, to trigger the more advanced tax collector, for example. But I'm pretty sure I come to that too. But in this case, we will place the farmers simply next to our player board. We have to refill again from the hill. And now we really, as we are replenishing two, the rule comes into effect. So I have to choose one of those columns in this case. And I guess, again, the leftmost one here sounds like a good idea. So let's take the tax collector here and the Duke. Everything else will slide down, and we have to refill from the direction where we have moved. So the tax collector goes in here, the Duke goes in here. At least this is my understanding. Let's replenish. And so you see the game is moving relatively fast. Here we have another priest and another knight. That's a plus knight. These symbols here for those knights also work as a kind of a set collection. So if you manage, for example, to get 3 knights of the hearts or 3 knights here of the plus, for example, then you will score 3 points. For 4 you get 5, and for all 5 of the hearts knights you will get 8 points. And you can have multiple sets, so you can have whatever 3 plus knights and 3 heart knights, who then basically score you accordingly. Not very likely that you get more than one, let's say, set of the order of the knights, but yeah, not completely impossible in this case. But yeah, I think this was the blue player's turn. Over to red, and red I think is in an okay spot. So what red could now really again do is to, I don't know, move to this knight here, grab this knight, and this would basically destroy my streak here, which again, you see what the other players are up to. On the other hand, we do have a tax collector here, and that's a free tax collector, which doesn't come with any requirements. So when you gain one of those tax collectors, one of those freebie ones, then you basically end your movement there, you immediately throw it out of the game, and in this case, we will immediately score 4 coins. And coins is really helpful to basically purchase subjects from the hill. That we can do now as of the next turn or as of the next round. And again, 1 coin is also 1 victory point at the end of the game. There is another tax collector up here which is only worth 3 coins. So in this case, starting the game with 4 coins is not a bad thing in the end. So I guess we are going to do that for the red king in this case. So again, this tax collector is pretty much out of the game, and therefore we are simply awarding the red player with 4 extra coins, and again that's 4 extra victory points at the end of the game. Then we have to replenish, again left or right. Putting a countess in here is really dangerous, because someone could gain 2 countesses in a row. This could be maybe no, I think the green player will not be able to do that, but maybe the blue player later on. So I guess we are not going to do that. The Duke here on the other side, I think should be fine to place him here, because they are basically next to each other and they are at an end. And again, you can only claim multiple tiles if you can pretty much jump over those. So let's say the Duke is here. If green moves down here, he would only gain this 1 Duke here. So in this case, I guess that is relatively safe. So yeah, I think I talked myself into that. We are going with the Duke in here. Let's move everything down. We are replenishing. That's another knight with a heart. And the decision on which column to choose might sound a little bit, why are you doing this? Why does it matter? It does. When you really coming later to the game or later rounds, you really see, okay, this guy still needs a countess. This one needs a Duke. He's after this knights of pluses, for example. And that's where you see, okay, how can I, either slow down that a particular subject is moving down, or I want to speed things up, maybe for a future turn for me to make it more or less expensive to acquire one of those. But okay, again, I'm already talking way too much. It's a relatively streamlined and fast-paced game. That was the first round. So as of the next round, again, green is first. We can now also acquire a subject here from the hill. Again, for the list price here, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 10. 10 is really huge, especially if you say, hey, I'm giving up 10 victory points for whatever a knight that's only worth 2. Yeah, maybe not so much, but if this really completes your set or is taking something away, then it's still important enough. But honestly, I've never seen someone acquiring up here. Up to 6, I have seen that multiple times. Of course, 3, 4 or 2, 3, 4, that's more likely, but yeah, it's out there. If you're really desperate to get this knight, and you are free to do so. And then one thing that you also have to be aware of, you can never get one of those specialists from the hill. You can only acquire them here from the valley through your main action, that is. Okay, what is green going to do? I think for now we are not going for a subject here. The game is still too fresh, still too early. We still don't have a clue what we are going to do. So in this case, green could also jump to the tax collector here. We could jump over these two farmers here. To gain with, oh, there are 4 farmers in a row. So if someone makes it up there and blue is in a good position, they could gain 3 farmers. And there are some bonuses if you, let's say, unite a farmer and a farmer's wife. So for each pair that you have at the end of the game, you will score an additional 2 points. So that's why also some of those farmers might be important. Should I go? I think blue, or green in this case, wants to complete a set. So I think we are moving down here for now. So we are ending our movement here. That's this first alternative, how you get subjects from the valley. So in this case, we are simply grabbing the Duke and placing him there. And you also see here, by the way, how many subjects are in each of those stacks. Overall, let's say distributed over all 3 stacks, that is in this case. And again, we need 3 more in order to complete a set, and then we get the so-called king bonus, which is one of those tiles that's simply worth 5 points at the end of the game, and we also gain 5 coins. And yeah, those 5 coins can also be 5 victory points at the end of the game. So, and you have to have 5 different ones. In this case, you can choose either a farmer or a farmer's wife per set, that is. Let's replenish the counters, the tax collect. I think they're all fine actually. So I think in this case, let's simply go for the easy one, the tax collector down here. Right now, no one can fulfill the requirements of this particular tax collector, because in order to trigger this tax collector here, you have to have 4 tiles of the same name. So for example, 4 farmers or 4 farmers' wives or 4 countesses, for example. Typically you do that a lot with farmers and or farmers' wives. For queens it's impossible because there are only 3, again, unless you are using a jester, for example, which can step in for a queen, for example, but only for the purposes of the kingdom bonus or in respect to the tax collector, that is. Then it's blue, or maybe we should replenish first. It's another farmer. There are a lot of farmers in this game. I think 24 farmers and 12 farmers' wives. Yeah, so what is blue going to do? Are we interested in one of those? I don't know, but a countess for 2. We're getting 3 points back, but right now we are not sure yet, and I guess there is still this nice opportunity here with those 2 knights. They're 2 points each anyway, no matter if you are doing a set or not. I think let's do that, and then we might be able to prepare for this 3 farmers in one. Again, that's 3 points in one go, and this would then set us up for getting a higher rank tax collector, for example. So I think, yeah, let's do that. So we are moving 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces up here. We are grabbing both of those knights. Even though they have 2 different symbols, they are still knights. They have the same name in this case, so we are totally free to grab those, and we are putting them down here. Again, there are 2 different orders, so again, it's not like that we are close to getting the 3 points here. Again, that's just a starting step, but still, that's 4 points for us anyway, so no one can take those away from me. Let's refill. And yeah, this is completely out of the question. If we would put in 2 countesses here, on the other hand, maybe we could, that's a good point. We could set us up, because we know for a fact that no one else will be able to take those away from us. And if no one is reacting now, we could set us up to get 3 countesses in a row. I think that is pretty huge, actually. I think we should try that. Again, I'm playing this against myself. This is challenging. It's already challenging enough to make decisions on your own, for your own. But I guess that's definitely a huge opportunity here. Let's replenish. Oh, here we have another jester. Again, the jesters are worth nothing. And here we have another plus knight. And this plus knight would really go well with the order of the other plus knight here later on. And there are 2 in the hill now. So I think that would be tempting. But of course, the other players are seeing this too, obviously. And last but not least, it's red. And of course, they know what's going on here. So for sure, they are not letting whatever get blue away with 3 countesses in this case. That's for sure. So someone has to do something about this. And I guess right now there is nothing better to do anyway. It's only more important now to how do we want to set us up? That's basically the question. And I guess we are going to move up here now. So we are ending our movement here. We are grabbing the countess. We are placing there next to our board. Again, we didn't also buy any knights or any subjects here. Of course, I jumped over this, but I will mention this if I'm going to do that. And then, yeah, let's refill right off the bat. And in this case, does it matter too much? I don't think so. We don't want to bring those down now, because again, red knows, oh wow, blue is after those plus knights. So if I take this one, they get cheaper. Let's not do that just yet, at least. So I guess we are going for the farmer's wife down here. Let's replenish. That's another farmer's wife. And yeah, this simply goes in here. And that's already, again, the end of the round. Back to green, who of course also sees that, okay, if I don't do anything right now, then blue will get 2 of those. So again, blue was okay either way. They were pretty much forcing the hands of the other players. And if someone wouldn't have done that, then he would be fine either way. And he still has the, let's say, mitigation plan ahead, so he can still go for a lot of farmers again. So I think that's still good enough. So in this case, yeah, I think blue or green has to go for a countess. And again, the countess does help him for the set. Are we going for something to buy? No, I don't think so. Let's go for the countess. We are placing her here. Now we already have a coming much closer to basically completing our set. Farmer or farmer's wife is really not a problem. The knight, there is still 2 out there right now. So I think green is relatively on a good way to complete or getting the kingdom bonus. I think that's great. Let's replenish. And of course, we are following the same logic right now. So we are going for this farmer here again. We don't want to make those cheaper, because there is a very high likelihood that, let's say, if we take this one, this knight would move down, then I guess, I know blue doesn't have the money yet. But still, let's not do that. Blue could still get money later on. So let's go for this farmer. We are placing the farmer here. Let's replenish another farmer's wife, and then it's back to red. No, it's blue, of course. Apologies for that. This was the green player's turn. So I think in this case, blue, yeah, we do not really care. We don't want a third set of knights. We could, however, going down this, no, this doesn't help us either. The jester, maybe, but right now we are not really sure what we want to do. But getting now 5 farmers, I think this would be perfect for a good tax collector. There is a tasty one waiting over here. So if we have 5 of a kind, so let's say 5 farmers, we would gain 10 coins or 10 victory points for that. And that's really not nothing. So yeah, I guess in this case, let's do it like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We jumped over 3 farmers, which is at least also 3 victory points at the end of the game. But again, we can use those farmers later on to get more farmers' wives. This is a set bonus here, so you see that here. That's 2 points for each pair. Or we can use the tax collector accordingly. Let's replenish. And now things are rather interesting. So if I take the 3 ones here, then the knight will move down. It's very cheap, but this is also putting me in somewhat of a danger, the blue player, because someone could say, I'm spending the 2 coins to take this plus knight away from you. So again, with the 3, I may not feel, let's say, comfortable again. This one here is a Knight of Hearts, and I think that's the better deal, and we are getting the tax collector out. Yeah, let's do that. So we are starting with the wizard. The wizard allows you to replace one of your subjects with one of the subjects here from the hill. It needs to be a standard subject, by the way. Again, you can only acquire them something here. So that's that. And I think, yeah, again, we have to do that from the direction we were coming. So the wizard goes in here, the tax collector goes in here, and the hard knight goes in here. They are all awfully tasty for the blue player, by the way. So here we have another tax collector. That's another farmer. And that's, oh, that's a queen. Okay, wow. And now, I think now really is the red player. The red player could take, no, but again, we cannot go to the tax collector because we are not meeting the requirements. The wizard is something that's also pretty much out of question. We could use the monk. The monk, what it does is basically we go in here, then we are paying 1 coin, and then we can continue to move from here in another straight line, for example. We could also jump to another priest or monk in this case, but for example, I'm here, and let's say desperately I want this countess down here. So I could go in here, pay 1 coin to the monk, this monk is then gone, and then I will jump to the countess, for example. I think right now that's not the most sexy option, and we still have to think if there is something that we desperately need, and I guess the answer is no. So I guess I want the Duke next. That's 4 points, and also helps me with the kingdom bonus later on. Maybe that's what red should do, right? And from there, we could still go for another countess, or we could go for the jester, which would help us with the kingdom bonus, for example. So yeah, let's do that. So we are moving here to the Duke. This goes again to the player board, and then we have to refill. And yeah, let's go for the farmer. Okay, this brings the queen down, which is also at least risky to some extent. And here we have another farmer's wife, and that's basically the end of the round. So let's keep going. I think I'm still good on 4. I definitely want to show you some more of the mechanics before I call it. So I guess we are moving back to the green player. Green really wants to complete his set. Unfortunately, he doesn't have enough money right now, because otherwise he would have gone for, basically, there is a Sun Knight for 3 here on the hill, and that would be totally worth it to prepare ourselves for basically Order of the Knight set later in the game. But I guess in this case we still want to complete our kingdom set, so I guess let's do that. So we are taking the knight. This goes in here, and again that's 2 points, and it again brings us closer to the kingdom bonus. So now we only need a farmer or a farmer's wife, and then we can claim our bonus, and that's pretty much a free action during our turn. Let's refill. Next would be blue. I mean, we know that blue still cannot afford this, but do we want a farmer or a farmer's wife? Do we care? The Sun Knight would be good too, right? Let's do that. Let's try that at least. So we are going for the farmer and placing this here. And now it's blue. And blue really has a tough decision to make now. So they either go for this knight. Again, he already has a Knight of Hearts, and this brings him closer to 3 bonus points already. And could be up to 8. If he gets all 5 of those Hearts Knights, that would be amazing. On the other hand, I think we have 5, yeah, we do have 5 farmers right now. But he also knows that no one else is able to take this tax collector away right now. So I guess in this case we have time. And I forgot to replenish the hill, by the way. That's another count again. Okay, before we move, blue could decide to pay 2 coins for 1 farmer's wife. This would help him for, again, the farmer's wife is only worth 1 point, and you might ask, why should I spend 2 for 1? Because we can also score a set later on in the game, or at the end of the game. For each farmer and farmer's wife you will score an extra 2 points. So in the end we will net some points, or 1 point with that, by the way. So, but is that enough? No, I think not for a farmer's wife. For a queen, of course, for sure. Maybe also for a duke or a countess, or a very special knight. But I think in this case, yeah, let's not do that. Let's keep it simple. Let's move only 1 space here to the Knight of Hearts. And again, this now really helps us to complete our set here. 1 more Knight of Hearts, and we will score 3 points at the end of the game for the 4th, 5, and for the 5th, then 8. So this is good. This is really good. Let's replenish the valet. And in this case, blue also sees that the green player wants this Knight of the Sun here. And he also knows that green could afford to pay those 2 coins here. And if blue brings that knight out here, then know that green doesn't get this knight right off the bat. So that's the, let's say, the interactive part in this game, which I really do like a lot, actually. So this is really the kind of thinking that goes through when you play this game a couple of times. But I think let's do that. So we are taking this knight here. This goes in here. You heard some silent curses from the green player. The other side of the table. Let's replenish. That's another duke. And then it's the red player. And I think, yeah, for red, that's actually pretty great. I think, oh, maybe that's something that blue kind of, I think it's still good for him, but blue could have done some. No, in this case, red will move up here to the wizard. The wizard will immediately trigger. So again, all of those gray tiles are out of the game right away and allows you to exchange one of your subjects with one of the subjects from the hill. So in this case, we will totally go with the countess and we will replace it with a queen. Wow, this is where those wizards are extremely powerful. And again, there are only 3 queens in the game. So this really helps us with the kingdom set here too. And this is really very, very important to achieve. So let's replenish. I think we are not going to make this one cheaper here because again, there are 2 now in this row. We cannot do that. We really cannot do. We will go for another farmer's wife in this case. And we will bring out a new one. We are already slowly. Oh, it's another knight of hearts. Oh, that's so tasty also for the blue player. And then we are moving back to green, who is not going to buy any subjects from the game. It only has 2 coins, and again, we cannot go for the specialist from the hill. And again, 2 for the farmer's wife. I think that's right now not really worth it. So we want to complete our set. And again, I want to show you stuff as much as possible. And there are 2 farmers here if we are moving diagonally. I think let's certainly do that. And maybe it brings us into a position getting this sun knight here. Oh, that's still good. Yeah, no, I think this is double good. 1, 2, 3, 4. We moved over to farmers again. We can ignore this. We can move over it. This jester here, but we are only getting those 2 farmers. We are placing those in here, and now we have completed our kingdom bonus. Unfortunately, you can use your subjects only once during your game. You will still score them at the end of the game, but unfortunately we have to turn all of those folks now over that we have used for this kingdom set. But again, that's totally worth it. So we will take one of those farmers. This one stays face up. We can still use it later on, for example, for a text collector or potentially for a second set. But again, the green player just scored 5 points and 5 coins. And that's really huge because now they're in a good position to afford some subjects here. Unfortunately, buying or getting subjects from the hill is something that happens at the start of your turn. So I cannot use the 7 coins now to get something from the hill, for example. But still, that was a pretty huge turn for the green player. Let's still replenish the valley. Again, we still don't have an interest to make things cheaper for the blue player, actually. So that's a very interesting situation. So we go for the rightmost. So the farmer's wife goes in here. Again, we are always moving or refilling from the direction we have moved. At least that was my understanding. Could be completely wrong, but I think it's not that big of a deal in the end. That's another farmer here. And that's another duke up there. Okay, but that was a pretty nice turn for green. Then it's blue, and yeah, for sure blue wants this tax collector, and I think we are not spending money for something, especially not for a farmer. We have more than enough, so we are going to move in here. So we are claiming this tax collector here, and again, this one requires you to also turn over 5 of your subjects that you used for this. So I can no longer use those farmers for a kingdom bonus, for example, but still that's totally worth it. We can get a farmer or a farmer's wife. They will still score us the 5 points we're getting for those 5 farmers at the end of the game. But yeah, we cannot use them in the game actively. So therefore we are getting 10 coins. That's really huge. And unfortunately, you can also only ever tax one of those subject groups once per game. So in this case, we are putting one of those tax markets here onto the farmers, but we can still tax the farmers' wives if we, for example, get another tax collector and get maybe 3 or 4 of those in a set. So that's still okay for them. Awesome. So 12 coins, that's 12 points. So I think overall that was a pretty cool turn for the blue player too. And also, by the way, you can also activate, let's say, gray specialists here, for example, in a single turn. So let's say I would be moving from here over those 2 tax collectors here, and let's also say I would have, I don't know, 4 farmers and 3 farmers' wives, and they would still be I would still be allowed to tax those. Then I can trigger them both. Or I would flip over the 4 farmers, and the 3 farmers' wives here, for example, would score me 13 points in total. That would be also, or coins in this case, pretty huge too. Again, this guy tax collector is out, and I think in this case blue will definitely make the knight a little bit cheaper. It's a bit dangerous. Blue knows that, but still I think that's okay. Green, yeah, could afford that to get those away, but not sure how destructive we want to play this. This is another Sun Knight. I think the green player had Sun Knights, exactly. So green would be after those. Okay, and then it is red. Is red going to buy something now? I mean, getting this 1+ knight away doesn't help him with his set, but paying 2 to get 2 points at the end of the game. So we are basically not scoring anything, but again, it would destroy a little bit, let's call it the strategy of the blue player, who's already on his way, preparing for 2 sets. So I think this is really something they have to do something about that. So I guess in this case, green will spend 2 coins now to grab this knight away. This also helps him with a kingdom bonus, for example. We are not replenishing right now, but we will do that later on. We can also only ever acquire 1 subject from the hill during this phase of the game. But again, this definitely helps us with our kingdom bonus here too. And now we do our active turn as the red player. And I guess we want our counters back. And I think we are going for this counters because in theory, red could then later on grab 2 counters in a single turn. That's 6 points, which is really not nothing in this game. So I guess let's do that. So we are jumping over here, and there we are also relatively close to completing our kingdom bonus here. We just need a farmer or a farmer's wife to do so, and that would be 5 points and 5 coins, and ultimately that could be 10 points at the end of the game. Let's replenish the board or the valley, and in this case let's not make this cheaper than it needs to be. And again, now also the red player could go after the plus knight in this case. I think let's simply go for this lonely farmer here. Let's replenish this accordingly. And that's again the end of the round. Of course, now we still have to refill here. I think we start from left to right, but again, I could be wrong. That's one of those fleshy knights. But I guess, yeah, let's do at least one more round. I think I showed you now most of the mechanics. The only thing kind of left are the priests or the monks and the jester here, for example. Again, the jester is simply a wild card, which you can fill in. Let's say you are missing a queen, then again you are using the jester to replace it with a queen. Doesn't score you any points at the end of the game, but still helps you to complete your kingdom bonus, that is. Okay, what is green going to do? They have enough of money, and I think, again, I keep forgetting it, they have the Sun Knight. The Sun Knight for 8, I think that's definitely, that's too expensive. I think that's not worth it. The counters for 2, basically netting us 1 extra point, could be okay, I would think. But again, it still nets you 2 points. I think that's 1 point in this case, but not sure if that's the best thing. What are we going to do as our action? Again, we have the tax collector here, which would also simply give us 3 coins right off the bat and would also bring us into a good position. Can we get something in particular? Again, the fleshy knight, I don't know. Do we get 2 in a row, for example? Is this something that's going to happen? No, I guess not. So yeah, let's spend 2 coins. And we will go for the counters. This simply goes to our playable. That's 3 points. Again, we spent 2 for those, but still that's worth it. And then we are moving down here to the tax collector. This is one that doesn't come with any requirements whatsoever, simply out of the game, and this will give the green player 3 more coins or points. So overall, I think green is in a relatively good shape. Let's replenish the valley. So this should slide down, and you can adjust the angle here for this one, so you can make it more steep, for example, steeper. So which do we want to? I think we're only putting out 1. Then if we're putting out this, then we know for a fact that maybe not. That's the thing, maybe not. The Knight of Hearts, I think that's even better now for, I think, let's make it tasty. I like that. So we are putting out the Jester, because both knights are amazing for the blue player, actually. So let's take out or bring out the Jester. So that's 2. Then we are starting with the 3s. Again, they're not more powerful or whatnot. They're simply distributed in the deck. So just to make sure that you don't have all the whatever Knight of Hearts in the first offering, or all the queens out there. That's the only reason. Apart from that, they're all equal. The only, I think, thing is that the wizards only appear twice, as far as I remember. Once in a 2 deck and once in a 3 deck in this case. Yeah, I think that's okay. And now it's blue. And I think blue is definitely spending 3 coins here. So this is a 5, getting 2 back in order to get the Knight of Hearts here. Oops, 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 oops. Honestly, this whole hill is kind of a nice gimmick, but yeah, I don't know. So that's the Knight. And again, on its own, it only comes with 2 points, and we paid it with 3, but now we have at least a small set of 3 knights, so that's 3 points at the end of the game, on top of the points that the knights would bring on their own. The next one would already be 5 and then 8, which would be, of course, huge. Then blue still has a turn, and there's another tax collector which he can use. And again, it's a knight. They don't have to be the same knight. They simply have to carry the same name, that is. And that's 6 coins. Yeah, let's totally do that. That's a no-brainer. So we are moving here to this tax collector for sure. Again, we have to flip 3 knights. We will simply go with the 3 heart knights here. It simply helps us to remember what those were. And in this case, we are simply scoring 6 more coins or 6 more points. So that's really, really huge. And I really notice playing this for 3-player, that's tough. It's really, really tough to think all of these things through. I have really a lot of, let's say, thinking pauses in between shots here just to make sure I'm not completely messing things up here. And I'm still not doing a good job in respect to strategy or whatnot. But okay, this tax collector is out of the game. We have to replenish again. And as this plus is good for the for the red player, actually, I think we are totally taking this away from them. And I think, yeah, let's do that. And yeah, that's that. Okay, we are bringing out 2 new tiles. That's a farmer. That's another knight. Oh, a hard knight. But yeah, 10 points or 10 coins for maybe a jump of 2 points in the end, or 4 in this case. I think right now not yet worth it, but still something to look out for. Then back to red, and I guess they're not going to spend my 3 for 4 is also not bad, I guess. But yeah, oof. Now we could complete this one here. And again, the farmers' wives are still not that often in the game. In this case, let's do that. So we are spending 2 coins, so we are getting 1 back in this case. So they're back at down to 2 coins in the end, right? I think that's correct. So we are taking the farmer's wife, and this completes our set. So we might as well do that. We simply have to remember what knights we have, but you can check those at any time. So really no problem there. We completed our kingdom bonus, so that's 5 coins, which we really needed, and we also gain this one here, which again is 5 points, but you cannot use it for currency, for example. Nice. Then red is moving and is quite happy that those 2 countesses are still around. That's 6 points in a single go. So yeah, also a pretty nice round for red. Then we have to replenish. Okay, where do we want this from? Again, I keep forgetting that's the plus. Okay, there's no plus out there, but I see a sun knight, for example. Who has the sun? The green player has the sun. Yeah, okay. I think we are going to take it also from here. So the farmer, I believe, has to go in here. The duke has to go in here. And then we are bringing out 3 more. And I really must say the game is moving really quickly, but it's even moving more quickly when you're not talking as much. So I think in a normal 3-player game, I would be through at this point in time with the first set. That's really a game you easily can play twice in a row. And I think that's the end of the round. Let's do one more. Again, we are starting with green. And green is now really tempted to go for this sun knight here. It's 4. But I still think it could be worth it, right? Yeah, let's do that for sure. So we are spending 5, getting 1 back. I mean, for a knight, that's only worth 2 points. On its own, that might be overkill, but you will see in a second. So this knight simply goes to our kingdom. And you may already have noticed this. Yes, there is a sun knight here. So green will move in here, picking up the sun knight. And now they also have a set of 3 sun knights in this case. So on their own, they will score 6 points because those are 3 knights plus the 3 points here of the order of the knight's bonus. So that's 9 points in total just for these 3 knights. Yes, we spent 4 for this, but I still think that this was worth it. Let's replenish. We will do it from the left because we know the hard knight is definitely great. Again, I keep forgetting it's so bad. Yeah, for the blue player in this case. So we are taking the countess here. We will refill. Oh, there is the last wizard. Again, the wizard can be very nice, as you can see, especially if you can trade something in against the queen, completing, helping you with a bonus, giving you more points. So I think overall having those wizards are great. The thing is, again, you cannot acquire a wizard from the hill. All the gray specialists are out of bounds there. Then it's blue. The Knight of Hearts here is tempting. It would be the 4th Knight of Hearts for the blue player, teleporting him from 3 to 5 points as a bonus. We would still lose 2 coins, but again, the knight on its own is also worth 2 points. So it's pretty much a wash in the end, but can set you up quite nicely for the 8 bonus here, for example. It would then be 8. So we could wait. Again, I'm not sure how aggressive the other players want to play it like this. I mean, we have the money, of course. Maybe we also have to consult the valley right now. So where would blue move to next? I think we are going to get maybe a farmer's farmer's wife next. And I'm really thinking, should I do that? Should I go for more farm? We have already taxed the farmer, so I think there is no point. And there's really not a great deal of stuff. We could go for the duke here by paying the monk. Maybe that's what we do. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so we are spending the 4 money now, I think, just to get the knight. I think getting those sets completed, at least it's nice. Again, didn't score them any immediate points right away because it's a wash, but still also didn't hurt them. So now I can also show you basically one of the last things in the game, and that's the priest. So blue will move down here. We are going to activate the priest or the monk. Therefore, you have to spend 1 coin. That's pretty much the price that you need to pay. It's the tithe in the end. And now the monk allows you to continue to move in a different direction. So we could move up here, we could move maybe to another monk, for example. If it would be something in line, then we would have to pay those monks or this monk again. But in this case, I think the idea was to move down here to the duke. Could help us with the kingdom bonus at some point in time, and it's still worth 4 points on its own, so we netted 3 points for that. Overall, not a bad deal, but of course we are still lacking the queen. Again, countesses shouldn't be, and there are no countesses out right now. That's the thing. All the other players, they already have taken, yeah, 5 out of the 9 countesses that are in the game. And right now, yeah, there is still 1 out, but currently blocked by the green player, basically up here. So we still have to replenish. What are we going to do? The plus? I think we do not really care too much. The wizard, the knight here for the farmer, but this would bring, I think let's go for the duke. Let's go bring out another duke in this case. This slides down. We will replenish. There's another knight. No one was going for this knight of flashes in this case. I'm really looking for the knight of roses, but I think there is none unless you're saying that this is a sunflower kind of rose. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Then it's red, and no, I should have also removed the monk, of course. I kept forgetting this. So I was replenishing from the left-hand side, right? Yeah, and I think I started here. So the duke should be here, and the farmer should be here. Okay, that's now, I guess, maybe a bummer, kind of. But yeah, I missed that. That's on me. But yeah, of course, the monk should have disappeared too. I paid for it, and then it's out of the game. And now it's red. I think it doesn't really change something in respect to if they want to buy a knight or buy a subject from the hill. We are simply moving somewhere. But now the duke would be a good target. But again, red has the knight of pluses. So I guess moving up here might be our best bet. And again, we could maybe go for a second set, kingdom set, for example. So yeah, let's move up here. Yeah, let's do that. So we are grabbing this fella, goes to the display. Then we are starting to replenish. In this case, we are moving from here. Again, this makes the other knight of pluses a little bit cheaper, but still 6 is too rich for my blood, at least at this point in time. And that's another countess. Again, yeah, I think blue really wants a countess at some point in time. I think Going out of the game without any kingdom bonus is not typically a good thing. I mean, blue did exceptionally well in respect to the tax collectors at least twice or maybe even 3 times. But I think still, I mean, you also get 5 coins from the kingdom bonus. And that's 10 points in the end. So I think that's really, yeah, something you really have to go for. I think green is not going to buy something from the hill. Green is really on a good track getting another kingdom bonus. So I guess getting this Duke here could be huge. And now really this is bad for the blue, but I think if I wouldn't have forgotten that we also have to plenish this one, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have gone for this column to refill. But again, not taking this back because I already seen what's coming out, but it's only me against me in this case. So yeah, let's definitely go for the Duke. Everyone is basically sad that green was getting this, especially those two. They could have both liked it to get it. It's definitely more important now for green and red, for example, but still we are claiming this. And again, we only need one more queen or a jester to complete our second kingdom bonus here. 10 more points for green, that is. So let's replenish. We are replenishing from here, because no one really cares about those fleshy knights. And that's another farmer. Back to blue. Does blue want to gain something here? I mean, the countess is still expensive. The problem is, oh, we could gain the countess up here by again triggering the monk. And this really, I think that's too tasty not to do that actually. Yeah, and this time I will not forget to trigger it. So the monk is here. I'm spending 1 coin to use the monk. This allows me to move in any direction, again also any distance, but I want to end my movement here for the countess, which again can help me here with my kingdom bonus. Again, the monk is gone, so let's replenish. That's the wizard. We could, oh, that's tasty, but everyone else could gain the wizard next. So if I go with the wizard goes in here, which means I think we cannot go for this. We will have to go for this. So the farmer goes in here and the duke goes in here. So there is a slight chance that blue could gain 2 farmers' wives in a row. So that could be, yeah, that could be interesting. Here's another tax collector who needs 5 of the same types of subjects. And I guess that's the end of the blue player's turn. What is red going to do? I think first of all we are spending 3 coins here. So we're getting 2 back to acquire this Knight of Pluses, which gives us 3 extra points. So it's not really a wash because again we scored 2 extra points here. So that was already a good start for this turn. Then I'm really tempted to go with one of those jesters. I think just because everyone is after those jesters now. I will do that. So I would think I will take this jester away. And again, we can place it into any of those columns here. So the jester is now pretending to be a queen. At the end of the game, it's still 0 points. But still it could help us with another set. So we need another farmer or farmer's wife and another duke or maybe another jester. That's also fine. You can have several jesters in a single row to help you with a kingdom bonus. Let's replenish. Do we care? The wizard would come out next. I'm not afraid, so I think that's fine. Let's go for this farmer here. Let's bring out 2 more tiles. We're coming really closer to the end of the game. Again, green is the starting player. We are always, again, completing the complete turn or round, that is. And then it's back to green, actually. And green sees that blue needs a duke. So I guess, yeah, we are totally spending 3 coins here. It's still a 1-point swing in our favor. And you really heard not so silent curses from the, the red player needs the duke, actually. The red player really not happy about this one here, but green certainly is. And I guess for the movement we are totally going for this jester, which again means that green has completed yet another kingdom set. So here's a farmer, here's one of the knights, a countess, a duke and a queen, disguised as a jester, or the other way around, which again is a kingdom bonus here, 5 points and also 5 coins, and again 5 coins are also 5 points at the end of the game. Nice. Then again, let's replenish. I think putting the wizard in here, no one can use it right now, but does it matter too much? Green will most likely not get it, because again, we have to move, then we have to move back. So that's not gonna happen, I guess at least. The tax collector with a 4 making, no, let's go with the farmer. Let's keep things simple. So this slides down. We are bringing out two. Oh, a Knight of the Sun and another Jester. The Jester is really cool. How many Jesters are there in a game, actually? I keep forgetting this. It's only 3 Jesters, 2. Okay, so I think we already have seen 2 out of the 3. And again, the last one is up here. But 10 is definitely huge and too much, I guess, for a Jester. Blue is really not happy that he didn't get the Jester. But I think it would have been hard to get it anyway. So I guess we are not complaining too loudly. There are now two interesting choices now. Here we have 2 knights of the same order next to each other. So he could now move down here just to grab it, and then with his next action to grab this one down here. So there is the third one. This would be also another 5 point. The thing is, I think in this case, red would definitely respond and get it away, because again, they're in a perfect position and getting them another set is not great. It's a risk which we could try to take. On the other hand, there is also one of those knights up here. So we could buy it now, and then we would definitely gain some points out of this. On the other hand, we could simply grab those 2 farmers' wives. That's 2 points plus 4 points, because we would create 2 pairs of farmers and farmers' wives. So that's 6 points, which we would definitely get without spending any money. So I guess in this case, let's make things easier. We move over those 2 farmers' wives, we grab those, and potentially if we get a third one, for example, we might be able to tax them too, because again, the tax collector can still go to the farmers' wives. So that's still possible. Yeah. Then what? I guess we are going with those 2. Why not? Yeah, so the wizard goes in here. I think green doesn't really need the wizard right now. I think that is okay, I guess. So we can take the risk for sure. Let's bring out another countess. Let's bring out another farmer. Cool. And then it's red. Red really needs some maybe farmers and or dukes or a jester. Neither of those are out right now. So we could decide now. I think he has a farmer's wife. So maybe we do want to get some farm. So I think it's not really worth it to spend any coins here. No, let's not do that. Again, he does want farmers. The problem really is there is no line in which, oh, what am I talking about? I'm totally blind. Here is the Duke we need. That's really the problem when you play for 3 players. Yeah, that's the Duke. That's the need, absolutely. Yeah, no brainer. Okay, we're moving here. Sorry for the long words. It's obvious. Because again, with a measly farmer or farmer's wife, we should be able to complete that. Okay, that was pretty stupid. I think let's not bring out this one. Let's go for the countess in this case. Let's bring out another farmer. Boring. And yeah, oh, where was it? I think this was here. Exactly. And then, yeah, that's again the end of the round. I think I will keep going now. The game should be over relatively soon. And maybe I will simply speed up now. Over to green. Not buying anything, but I think in this case we will simply... Oh, we could go for a... no. We will go for a farmer's wife in the end. And by the way, the wizard only allows you to exchange face-up subjects from your player board to with the hill in this case. So anything that's face down, it has been activated. It will only flip them back at the end of the game just to score the points for those. Just to clarify that. So that's the farmer's wife. We're placing it here. We know we have 2 farmers here. That's at least 1 pair we have formed. So that's 2 extra points. I take it. Nice. Then yeah, let's simply replenish. Let's simply go for another farmer's wife. That's fine. Let's do that. Back to blue. It's really a pity, but blue cannot get to any straight lines to get more than 1 farmer's wife. But I still think I want one of those. So that's at least the third one. And again, we have more than enough male farmers here. So each pair will score us 2 extra points at the end of the game. So that's 6 points just for the pair. So that's really not nothing. So let's replenish. Oh wait, maybe the jester. Maybe the jester which would be nice. Yeah, let's go for the tax collector row. Might be a long shot, but let's see about that. I still think that that's something that's feasible. Let's bring out, oh, that's the plus knight. Who needs the plus knight? I think that's the red player. Yes, of course. And red is next, actually. But I guess, yeah, we are not buying anything. We will simply move 1, 2, 3 spaces here, grabbing those 2 farmers, which will complete another row in our kingdom. Again, we don't have to activate it. So let's say we want to, don't flip those 2 knights, for example, because we want to go for tax collector instead, because you can only use them once, then I'm free to not do that. But in this case, I think it's still pretty huge. So we are flipping everything over accordingly. Again, the jester is still fine. And this will again score us 5 coins and another one of those. Nice. Let's replenish. So we will do it from here. 1 and 1. Yep. Okay, 1 and 1. Oh, another monk, and I think there are 5 more left if I see that correctly. So the game should be over relatively quickly. Back to the green player, that is. They will definitely spend 3 coins. So again, getting 2 back. Oops, that's a little cheater. I saw that. Little sleight of hands here to grab the Knight of Suns. That's a good start because I believe that's the 4th he has. Yeah, so he just jumped from basically 3 bonus points to 5 bonus points. Nice. And then what are we going to do? I mean, these 2 farmers here are nice. We could, in fact, try to gain this knight set here, for example. I mean, just to put it out there. On the other hand, getting another farmer would be, or farmer's wife. And then there's another farmer's wife. If we go in here, that simply takes too long. That's the problem. I think that really doesn't help us. So no, I think we will go for the farmer's wife in this case, which again is another set or another pair of those. That's in total 3 points we scored out of this. So I think that was definitely worth it. And here I think I do not care too much. We are going with this farmer for now. Then we are replenishing again too. That's another fleshy knight and the last sun knight. Okay, that's really important for the green player, but of course everyone knows that. But no one is spending 10 points to deny whatever someone else, 5 points in total. So let's not do that. Okay, then it's blue in fact, yeah. And blue is definitely spending the 3 coins for this jester, which also completes his kingdom bonus. Wow, that's the first time in the game. So that's that. We have to flip one of those knights and one of those farmers' wives. Nice. Wow, that's so cool. So that's also 10 points in total. 5 from these kingdom bonuses and 5 from the coins. Nicely done. And then we still have to take our turn, actually. And I guess we are simply going for this farmer's wife here, which could still help us with this tax collector down here, right? Yeah, what am I doing? This goes in here. Cool, and again, it's another pair. I will totally take that. Let's replenish. We will take it from this row for sure. Chup, chup. And yeah, 3 more to go. So the game is ending rather soon, actually. Then it's green, right? No, red, of course, red. Red is not going to buy something, I believe. On the other hand, here we would gain. No, that's still okay. No, let's do that. This would also definitely... Oh, this will end the game, I believe. Maybe that's what he wants to do, actually. To not give the other players... Yeah, no, of course. Because otherwise we would be still able to... No, that's cool. So we are spending 2 coins to whatever, get one of those countesses. That's 1 point swing for sure. Then I guess we are going here, because otherwise, yes, blue could definitely still go for a taxation, which we don't want to do. No, we are moving over here, grabbing this farmer's wife, which in the end, I believe, yeah, still creates a second pair of those. So that's 3 points on top of this. So we scored 4 points in this last round. So I still think that this is worth it. Then we would basically replenish, and I think it doesn't really matter from where we replenish, so we simply take this farmer here. This goes in here, and we only have 1 more tile left, which means we cannot completely... That's the queen. We cannot completely refill the hill. This triggers the end of the game. And because red was the last player, this is the end of the game. Yeah, let's totally end it here. I think it would have only be beneficial for all the other players. Relatively sure that red is not going to win, but they still don't want to give the other players more points than they already have. Okay, now we will tally up our score, which means all of these things will basically flip back over. And then we simply count the points from those tiles pretty much individually, and then we would go for the bonus scoring. So I will do that now mainly off camera for the 3 players. Okay, and here we are for the, let's say, interim scoring, just counting those tiles. So we have 35 and 35 for green and red, and only 26 for blue. Though that was not great, but blue really had an awful lot of farmers and farmers' wives, of course. All the other players had dukes, more countesses, you name it. So of course this gives them somewhat more points. Then we basically go for the kingdom bonuses. Green has 2 of those, so that's 10. Blue only has 1, also not really doing great, and red also has 2 of those, so that's 10 points. Then we go for the order of the knights in this case, and I believe, yeah, green only has 1 set with 4, so that's 5 points, but I think that's the same, yeah, for the blue player also, only 4 of those, which means that's 5 extra points. And for red only have 3 of the pluses here, and that's only 3 points. So right now you can already see that green is winning. Then we go for the couples bonuses. So in this case we have a couple here, we have a couple here, that's 4 bonus points in total for green. So that was not particularly sexy for the green player. Down here on the other hand we have 4, and that's 5, but that's another pair of 4 pairs. So that's 8 points at least for the blue player. So that's at least some relief here, but still not doing great. And here we have the red player also with 2 pairs, and that's 4 extra points. Then we are counting the gold, that's 7 points for red, at least 11 points for blue, and I think, yeah, in this case green only had 3 coins left. And overall, indeed, the red player did win. So I think this was the perfect decision to end this game at this point in time. They could have played for another round if they only would have chosen 1 tile from the valley, for example, not buying anything. Then we would have played another round, and I'm relatively certain that everyone else would have made some more points here, for example. So I think overall was the perfect decision to stop it here. But you see, they ended up relatively close to each other. But yeah, that's, I guess, because it's me playing against myself. So not sure if that is a good score or not. But yeah, that's pretty much how you play King of the Valley, designed by Hans van Tol. Again, as it's a review copy, I'm not really sharing an awful lot of my thoughts. It's not a review, it's really a walkthrough of this game. I really hope I was able to show you some of the intricacies in this game, some of the thought processes in this game. And yeah, before I forget, a huge shout out to all of my patrons and channel members. You guys are amazing. If you do want to support my little channel here, you can directly follow my link to Patreon. You can join me here on YouTube directly. You can use the little thanks function beneath this or under this video here. Like and subscribe, leave a comment. This also greatly helps the channel. And yeah, with that being said, hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And until then, bye bye.